Hello, and thank you so much for coming on to our page and seeing what it is that we're doing. I hope that you've been inspired by maybe seeing the video on the website. Someone sent you a link and said, go support these guys. What they're doing is super cool. Or maybe you just landed and thought, what? They did it tour? What does that mean? So let me tell you kind of in a snippet. If you haven't been to the website, please go to theydidittour.ca. It's going to give you a video that's going to explain in depth this crazy, unforgettable experience that we actually are all going to have together. Me and Corrine are going to be walking for 8 days. We're going to do just over 8 marathons across Ireland to raise money for the music industry. What does that mean? What does that mean, raise money for the music industry? There has been some incredible selected varied charities that are going to make an impact for people in relationship to music globally. Because you know what? We believe that music is like happy, happy, joy, joy. It's one of those things that's just inspiring and motivating. And we know that you've been affected by music, and we know it's such a powerful healer. It's just done so much greatness in the world. If you think about the songs that have been written that have really made impact, those ones that you can't stop thinking about, or those ones like We Are the World, and just the global impact that songs like that make. So we really want to support an industry that supports you. And so we're so happy that you're here to support us in doing that. And whatever you feel that you can share with us, whether it's services or finances, we are super, super appreciative. And, if you want to send us a video if you want to tell us what music means to you, please do, right? Send it in to us. And if you allow us to use it on social media, we will. So you can also go to the Facebook page of They Did It Tour Facebook group. And if you want to follow the journey, if you want to put things out there, like if you are in music, you know of music, anything around music, please just post your little heart out. So I thought it'd be kind of cool, instead of you listening to me and Corrine talk, and she's going to be talking, is why don't we hear from some people that I'm pretty sure have been inspired by music, at the very least listen to some. So let's hear from people other than ourselves. So Dorothea, what do you think about music? Has it impacted you?
Well, absolutely. I love music. I've always loved music. I've grown up with it, and yeah, I found that it's a powerful mnemonic. It can take me back to high school in a heartbeat. One song from Journey or something, and back in the slow dancing high school days. And it's also the lifter of my soul. So absolutely, it's powerful. It can change lives, and it certainly has changed mine.
Awesome.
All thanks to you.
Oh yeah, all thanks. And we got to throw in there that Dorothea knows how to carry a tune. That woman carries it. Oh my gosh. Okay, Catherine. I love what you're wearing today, Catherine. It's very green. It's very green.
Very much Dublin.
Hey.
Music. I mean, it fills your car. It fills it fills your time when you're commuting. It allows you to escape when you need to escape. It allows you to get into the mood and get into the party when you need to do that. It can take me back to high school, like Dorothea said, in an instant, one song, and you're there, or to the beach, or around the fire, and hanging out with friends and family. So and it also reminds you of people that have passed, and you have a little smile when you hear that song come on the radio or whatever. So definitely it wouldn't be the same without music.
No, and the fact that you are from Ireland, I know that music is a big part of your life. It's a big part of your culture. And so it sounds like you've had a lot of great experiences there with music. So Dayton.
You can't go very many places in Ireland without having a bit of a band.
A bit of a band. Okay, we're going to remember that. So Dayton, how about you?
Well, is this my 2-minute spiel?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Because I wrote something down that I wanted to share with everybody, just my personal experiences, rather than try and rethink it. So music has been for me an emotional self-exploration of my soul. Music is an emotional expression, as I feel all art is. To be able to tap into your gift and create that here in this physical world to share is the true gift. The elation of creating and sharing your light is, for me, the greatest form of connection to my personal reasoning in this world. Music affirms and grounds me with my purpose in this life. It's like who I am in this world. I find Creating music is my soul to be shared. Music is magic for the soul, and it comes in the form of audio artwork. Created music becomes airwaves of vibration. You can't see or touch this art, only hear it. I feel shared music for the listener becomes an individually personalized emotion. Music can take you back to the day. The feelings of those times or personal memories are in some beautiful way locked in and connected deeply within our souls, never to be erased. I remember who I was, where I was, and what we were doing the first time I ever heard Zeppelin, Whole Lot of Love. We become connected by the mood or the lyrics of what we like listening to musically. Connection, music in itself is an evolution of all previous influence for the creator. I feel is one of our deepest connections in human history, right back to banging sticks and stones together. So how music has made my life better is, for me, giving is sharing light, truly the greatest gift I could receive.
Wow, that's, that's so impactful. And I love audio artwork. I've never heard it put like that before. I think that definitely should be a t-shirt or something that we wear on this tour, because that what an accurate way to describe music. And wow, it's very moving. It's very moving. And of course, your life is surrounded by music, and we're so grateful that you do what you do as well. So we're super excited, super excited. And how about Mariki and Glenn? I see you guys there together. So do share your, how music has impacted you guys.
Yeah,
Hi.
thank you.
Thanks for having us. I'd like to first say, Dayton, I will never look at a guitar solo or a drum solo or any kind of solo without thinking it's, audio artwork now. It's not like a solo, it's audio artwork. Somebody giving their artwork audibly to us. That's so great. Music to me, when I was younger, I guess just as a young kid, you don't really know how you're feeling and what's going on, but I would put on the radio and, sooner or later, in a matter of time, it would be like the lyrics would be describing what I'm going through in life at that time. There's such a plethora of music out there that whenever I would put on the radio, something that was happening in my life would transpire or be, what would be the best way to put it? I would be able to figure out really what's going on in my mind and my emotions through music. So I tried to play music. I could never play music. So very early in life, I started to build stereo system and records, and music has always been so meaningful to me. Bagpipes, if I hear bagpipes 3-4 blocks away, I'm like that bug on Bug's Life. It's so beautiful, and I'm traveling all the way over just to sit and watch the person play the bagpipes. But maybe that's got something to do with my heritage as well. But music for the both of us, because I've always been in love with music. I love especially live music. And I went to a concert in Hagersville, Ontario, one day. And when I was sitting there talking to a bunch of people, I got like this big universal thrust to my soul, and I looked around and it's like, what just slapped me? And around the corner comes Mariki, and it's like, who are you? What do you mean to me in my life? But I didn't really capitalize on it the first time. And a few months later, at a concert in a bar, she came up to me, and so music meant to her what it meant to me, and it drew us together. And been a beautiful relationship and marriage. Yeah. She moved out west. I followed her. We came back, and because family's here, and COVID just said, you can't jump on an airplane and be with family whenever you want. So we had to come back this way.
And we have a lot of records.
So right now,
Yes.
Am I over? Okay, so anyway.
No. I was gonna say yes. You traveled out west and back east, and you brought your record collection both ways.
Both ways, and right now it's like 100 degrees outside, and that record collection we figured out is about 3/4 of a ton. So I'm trying to empty the trailer right now. So when I'm done speaking, I'm going to go, because the sunlight is really bright, and that's damaging the records, or will if I leave them. So anyway, it's been a real pleasure being on here, and thanks so much.
I will stay, and he will
Marie,
stay.
and I'm really sorry that we thought we could get this done in time, but that's a lot of records one man to move. I had to take him out of the store, get him in a trailer, and now take him out of the trailer and get him in the guest house. And
All
anyway,
right. I'm cutting you off now. We're gonna hear from Mareiki, and you go move your records.
hey, thanks everybody. Bye.
So Mareiki, how about you, hon? Music, your life?
But it's interesting because for me, music was not something that was very much allowed in my life throughout my life. And then when I lived in Saskatoon, I met an amazing girlfriend that constantly took me out to some music. And I learned about music and was like, wow, I actually like music. And I've always liked to sing opera, but never really, everybody's made fun of me, so kind of hide away with everything. But there I was like, wow, I really, really like music. And like Glenn says, when I came to Ontario, started going to some concerts and met some like-minded people. And yes, it's been absolutely a transformation in being able to meet my husband. And now we get to enjoy stereo. And we spent countless hours in front of his amazing audio equipment listening to stereo.
Awesome. That, just, it's amazing to hear how you can find music at any time in your life. And the other thing is, I think even for people that have been raised with music or had it, like whether it's nursery rhymes or whatever it is, right? But sometimes music becomes more important at times in our lives, or it makes impact in our lives differently at that time, or there's a song that just lingers with us. I know for me, there's a song of, that was played at my son's christening that I will always forever love Josh Groban for. It's like, and that didn't come until later in my life. So I think whenever you find music, or whenever music finds you in that deep kind of soul healing way, it's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for sharing. And Joe, how about you?
Well, for me, I mean, music has always been just a necessity. Growing up, I had two great parents that brought me up in church, to start out. We had an organ that had a little drum kit built into it. And I think that's kind of where I got started learning to love drums. But I mean, in high school, I didn't really play drums. I played trumpet, trombone, euphonium, brass family. But for me, music is just more of a necessity. It just makes me feel really good. And it isn't just one type of format, whether it be rock. I like salsas. I like radio theater music. I enjoy, the Benny Goodman to the big band to the jazz. It's all great. As long as it sounds good, I'm going to really enjoy it. And I also find that music for me is timelines, like Paul McCartney Wings, Knocking at Your Back Door. It always takes me back to being 5 years old in my grandpa's car. It's just a timeline for me.
Right. Which reminds me of like how a lot of times people will use music as kind of like, romanticizing, I know someone shared earlier, like Catherine shared earlier, that music, whether even someone passes, or this timeline that you're talking about where you spent time with somebody doing something, and music can transport you there so quickly, which I think is why it's such a powerful healer. It's just, it's just so incredible. So thank you so much. I know that music's a major part of your life, and thanks for sharing and coming on today. And how about you, Shiraz? Share with us your experience with music.
When I was 20 years old, I did my first trip. I was going backpacking through Europe, and it's my first trip alone. And my friend John made a playlist for me. And when I got off the plane in London, it's my first time on my own out of the country, and In the Air Tonight is playing by Phil Collins on my headset. And it just made this surreal feeling of where the hell am I? What's about to happen? And he made the whole playlist like that. So wherever I was going and visiting Glastonbury Tor and Stonehenge, and this just ambient music was with me the whole time. And it just made the entire journey across Europe so much different and full. And since then, I've lived in Australia, Japan, Germany, India, and I find that now music doesn't just take me to a different time. Each thing can take me to a different place. Oh, this is the Australia soundtrack. These songs are all Australia. So it's just such a part of who I am now. And I think in music a lot of the times, like if people are saying something, if it relates to lyrics in a song, I automatically start playing that song. And sometimes it could be just something so short, like a single word. Like if someone says stop, I'm like, Do I start singing In the Name of Love, Collaborate and Listen, or is it Hammer Time? Like, this is just what happens when people are talking around. They don't realize there's the soundtrack going on while we're having conversations. And I couldn't imagine if that was to just go away. Like, it's so integral to who I am and what's going on in my life.
Absolutely. It reminds me of when me and Corrine had this conversation. Obviously, we talk about this walk quite a bit, and it's a year from now. And one of the things that was one of our initial conversations was really, what is the music that we're going to be listening to? Like, we're going to have, for 8 marathons, we're going to have, quite the soundtrack. So if anyone out there feels like they want to make a soundtrack, we're obviously going to have our own. Please feel free. We would be more than happy to take that service if you'd like to volunteer that. But soundtracks are so incredible, and yeah, as you talk about that, music and travel, I think music can transport you somewhere. But when you've been to a special place or you've used it for support, like you having it on your first trip on your own, using it for support, music can become your best friend. It can make you not feel alone. For sure, it can make you not feel alone. I know for me, the band, or not the band, but the woman singer that I listen to, because sometimes I feel a little different, or I feel alone, or I feel misunderstood. For me, it's Janis Joplin. When I put Janis Joplin on, I feel like I got a sister. I feel like I got a soul sister. She totally understands me. I don't think she knows who I am, but she hangs out with me in my office and she understands me. So I think it can be really bonding like that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Neryl, I see you have popped on. I'm so happy to see you. So girlfriend, do please share your relationship to music. Oh, you got to take yourself off mute. That would probably be pretty helpful.
Okay, good for me. Okay, so here's what came to my mind when we started to talk about music. A couple years ago, I went through a situation that something happened at my job, and then it turns out that there was some kind of mix-up, and they were saying I did X, Y, and Z, and I couldn't defend myself. So my friend said, come out of town and just spend a couple of days with me. I'm in a store in a new town, and I felt so depressed. And then came on the radio in the store. It was kind of surreal. It said, I heard her said, I was driving through Cincinnati, and then at one point she said, I was running low on faith and gasoline. Then she said, Jesus, take the wheel. And I lost it in the store. My eyes feel, every time I hear that song, I say, okay, there's some help on the way. I'm gonna be okay. I never forgot the moment, because at that time I was overwhelmed. So that song for me has really, really made a difference at the moment, and in a strange place. So music is so important. Somebody found the lyrics to put them in words, but I could not express myself. And I think music has that power to say for us what we can't articulate.
Oh my gosh, that's such a heartfelt story. Even as you share it, and even though I wasn't there and I didn't have that experience, it's like I could feel those feelings and I could imagine that. Thank you so much for sharing. It's like, for me, I talk about, I listen to country music, and I know for some people that's just they do or they don't. They do or they don't. But for me, I always feel strongest to my faith when I listen to country music. We used to sit around and watch the, Glenn Campbell show when I was a little girl. But there's something about country music, and there's something about Amazing Grace that I used to play to my grandmother on the organ that makes me feel super close to my spirit, and spiritual. So thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing. And Ocean, how about you? Music, what does it mean to you? What kind of music do you like?
I kind of like all kind except for country, really. Country's not my thing at all. But yeah, music's pretty much everything, really. It changes your mood. It kind of makes you who you are. Like, me and my buddy went late night driving, blasting all old songs, and it was a really good time, and definitely made memories for later on in the future. And it could get you hyped, it could get you sad. It's just kind of everything, really.
Awesome. So do share with us. I mean, thank you for sharing how you feel about country. I didn't know that. But he's like, stop singing that. But what music are you listening to right now that that's kind of your fave, that you're kind of hanging out with at this stage in your life?
Well, it's hard. I do a whole bunch. I usually really like rap and R&B and stuff, but I also really like rock stuff. Like I just made a playlist for me and my buddy because he loved old rock songs, and we're listening to "Don't Feel the Reaper" and Kiss and Peter Peter Gabriel and all those kind of old guys. So it's kind of cool. Well, to me,
All
they're
the-
old guys, but
All those old guys. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, wow. I mean, you know what? Listening to everybody talk about music and what it means to them. And before I let Corrine kind of finish us up with music, is there anyone that's had anything, you know, triggered or a thought that they've had around music that they want to kind of share before I, you know, pass baton over to the other walking person in this journey? Anything? No? All right. So Corrine, please do share.
Well, for me, music, like everybody else here, it's been a lifetime. I use it. I'm very much into sports, so to magnify the mood, you know, those big sounds, the really heavy beat and everything to get you going, so you know can eliminate the other team. Or like we've talked about sadness. For me, I just recently found, because of Google Home, thank you, Google Home, a Celtic channel. And when I'm kind of, heart hurt, I turn that up to 10 and I do my chores around the house. So that that kind of, it resonates with the feeling, but it also makes me feel good. So it allows me, as we heard, to work through whatever you have to work through. I love the celebratory stuff, like the Christmas music, all of that, and the whole variety of Christmas music, from the kids to the church and everything in between. And then the new country Christmas songs, starting to get used to them. I really like the oldies though, and for me, my base is really the oldies. Growing up with my parents, they always had the oldies, the Big Bopper, Elvis, Buddy Holly. I'm sure I can still remember every word to every main Buddy Holly song, because I would sing it. My very first apartment, I had no TV. I only had a tape and the radio. So a tape that I made of my mom and dad's music, and that's all I played for hours when I was at home. So it's provided me comfort when I'm, need that energy lifter. There's that. When I'm just don't know, the country is a go-to. The new Celtic music that I found is a go-to, and the oldies. It makes everything better. It truly does. And so when Deb asked me about this walk thing and she's talked about music, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go. And I'm the silent partner, as everybody can probably tell. Deb is definitely way more out in the camera world than I am. But I love it. I love what it does for everybody and the opportunities it can give people to share and heal and just find a better place for themselves. So I listen to it every single day and I love it.
Awesome. Well, Laura, hey, so happy to see you here. And we're all talking about different times in our life or different music or how we use music or how it's impacted us. So do share your relationship with music.
Yeah, thanks, Deb. So I'm glad I was able to get in. Great to see everybody here. So music for me is such a massive part of my life. Really, it's a quintessential part of my life, in that it's that moment of escapism, but also just that ability to kind of transport. There's so much about music that connects with the senses, and it's that element of really kind of connecting with those senses and transporting to a different place, whatever you want to call it. It's just that element of just coming out of your present and just taking that moment to just be with the music, be with the artistry, because that's just it. There is so much artistry in music, and I think that's often something, not that we undervalue or forget, but you know, that is the foundation of it, really is that art, you know, that artistic element of it. And I just have so much appreciation for it, and so much respect for it. I value it in my life so much.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you for sharing. And, I think we've heard a couple of times here just the beautiful relationship between music and art, and also how it's helped us heal and how we used it for on a daily basis. And how, I loved how Kareem brought up the celebratory aspect of it, whether it's birthdays or holidays or special events in your tradition and your culture and your family, and how we have those memory banks, and just the eras that it's going to happen in our life. I mean, I watch everyone at all ages get up at weddings and dance with each other. You see the great grandfather and the granddaughter, and they're dancing, and it just is magical in moments. And so we're just, we're doing this project. When I think about some of the magic moments, I mean, for me, even though this might sound like something that's really sad, and I was thinking today, what would I want to share about one of the most magical moments that I had with music? And I think, I had the blessing of sitting and having that conversation with a dear friend of 40 years that was, on her way to transition and go to the other side. And so I said, okay, girl, so how am I going to know that you're around? How am I going to know how to talk to you? And she's like, well, we've had the same song forever. And it's Funk Soul Brother. When you hear it popping on your radio, I'm around. And I was like, oh man, even having that relationship with music on that level is just like super grateful. So I think we can have relationship with music in so many different ways. And thank you all for sharing. And honestly, we're so excited about this project, because it's not just about the people that are singing or drumming or playing guitar or who you see on stage. These charities are supporting people that may be using music but not want to do it as a career. People that want to be the tour managers, people that want to songwrite, people that want to support and be the, the backup singers, the people that want to, do the branding for the music industry, and just everything into relationship. It's this beautiful relationship of all sorts of people that want to use music or learn about music or use instruments for all sorts of reasons. And so really this whole the unforgettable They Did It tour, two women walking and rocking. Of course we're going to be rocking. Two women walking and rocking. Ask us day 7, we might not be so rocking, but it's all about that. And so we thank you so much for your support. We know you've come onto this page to support us, and we are going to thank you and appreciate that. We can't wait to meet every single one of you, and we really, really hope we do. So thank you everybody for coming on today and sharing your experience and opening your heart about what music's meant to you. And we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. And myself and Kareen, we want to say, should I say Shlanja? Cheers.
Shlanja.
Thank you so much for coming on. And we will see you all again soon. So bye for now. Bye.
Bye for now. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.